So on February 24th, 1977, in a hospital in Michigan, Floyd Mayweather Jr. was born. His father was a professional boxer who was in and out of jail. His mom was a drug addict. And when his father weren't around, and later on, he was sent to his grandma's house. Later on, he would be sent to his grandma's house permanently to go live because his father and his mother weren't able to take care of them. Weren't able to take care of him, of Floyd. Um, Floyd's grandma was the one of the first, if not the first, to see the potential in Floyd in terms of his boxing. Um, an anecdote that Floyd shared was that um, Floyd would say, "I need to get a job to support this family, to support my family, to hold my weight," and his grandma would say, "No, no, don't worry about that. Just focus on boxing." So a couple years later, a teenage Floyd finally said enough is enough, and dropped out of high school. And his reasoning was because he wanted to support his family, and so this was the start of what you could call an illustrious amateur career. In total, Floyd had 92 fights, and in those 92 fights, he won 84 and only lost 4. And during this amateur career is where he got his first of many nicknames. This first nickname was Pretty Boy. And the reason they called him Pretty Boy was not just because of his looks, but because in his amateur fights, he had little to no scarring because he had developed such a good defensive technique that is that Floyd's grandfather and father had implemented on him. In 1996, Floyd represented the United States in the 1996 Olympics. Floyd won third place, which is a bronze medal in the weight class of featherweight. A couple months later, after the Olympics, Floyd made his professional debut, and 2 years later, after his pro debut, Mayweather fought Hernandez. And this is a significant milestone in Floyd's illustrious career because this is the first WBC belt that Floyd won. 4 years later, after the Hernandez fight and after his first WBC belt win, he fought Castillo in 2002 on April 20th. Now, this is another major milestone because this is the second WBC belt Mayweather had won, but in a different division. 5 years later, in 2007, on Cinco de Mayo, was the first of Mayweather's big, big paychecks, and this was against Mexico's arguably best fighter that they've ever had, and at the time, Mexico has ever had, probably arguably the best, if not the best, Oscar De La Hoya. Now, this fight was very big in terms of money, in terms of commercialized everything. So on the Mexican Independence Day, Floyd beat Oscar De La Hoya via split decision. So his next fight, in which arguably could have happened many years earlier from when it happened, was the fight against Manny Pacquiao on May 2nd in 2015. Now this fight was years in the making. It was years in the making, and it it held there was arguments of gloves, of how much they were going to weigh, how much each fighter was going to earn. It was a lot of just tedious little details that took years just to finalize. So when it finally happened on May 2nd, 2015, in Las Vegas, Floyd Mayweather beat Manny Pacquiao via unanimous decision in a very dominating fashion. Mayweather canceled out every single one of Pacquiao's moves. Later in 2015, Mayweather fought Berto, and in which was Mayweather's last official fight. In which he after that fight he announced his retirement. But the thing is, Mayweather doesn't like to say retired because 2 years later, in 2017, on August 26, 2017, he fought Conor the Notorious McGregor, in which is now called the money fight because both fighters were taking an absurd amount of money home. This fight was captured a lot of people's attentions, not only because of who was fighting, but the press conferences and everything. Uh, when the fight finally happened, Mayweather did beat McGregor in the 10th round via TKO, and this was uh, so far Mayweather's last professional fight. Um, Now the last main talking point, which is Floyd Mayweather's legacy, it is Floyd Mayweather's legacy, and this is the legacy he's leaving behind. Is he now has his own boxing promotion, TMT, which stands for the Money Team. Um, he's leaving behind his illustrious, undefeated, perfect 50-0 record, and he's also leaving behind how an athlete is now treated as a superstar and how much they earn.